Hi, welcome to this special edition of In the Thick of It. I'm here with some of my colleagues today, and we're talking about what we're building around Conscia in the UK, where we've come from, how we're innovating, what we're taking to our clients, and what people can expect of us as we build our business going forwards. Guys, do you want to introduce yourself first of all, Ben?
Yeah, so Ben Paminter, I'm the Sales Director for the UK for Conscia. So I look after and lead our market unit teams and our specialist solution teams.
So I'm Richard Titheridge, I'm the Managed Services Director for Conscia in the UK. My area of responsibility is all the support desk side of things and the service delivery that wraps around that.
And I'm Scott Murphy, I'm the Head of Marketing and Brand. My responsibility is making sure that as we launch Conscia into the UK market, we're doing it in the right way, in a way that appeals to our clients, employees, and anyone else who we interact with.
And I'm Neil Pemberton, I'm the CEO of Conscia in the UK, and happily get to also not just take responsibility for that role in the UK, but also interact with my colleagues around the wider Conscia business in the other 9 countries in which it exists, which is one of the interesting aspects of becoming part of a wider business. But I guess I'd kick off the conversation by just highlighting some reasons why I think what we're creating here is really interesting and appealing to both the clients we serve and the employees that we have within the business, and importantly the partners that we work with. I think that what's really different about our business is we are creating something that both is deep in its expertise, focused in its approach, cares about the client outcome, and builds a lot of trust and understanding with those clients, but is increasingly being able to do that in a scale way. One of the biggest challenges I think for businesses that I've seen is, you start off small, you really understand what you're about, you can really translate that to clients, but as you grow and get broader, and some of the good stuff that you had in the beginning can become diluted and not as obvious, both internally and externally. But I think the trick that we are clearly pulling off at the moment is that actually we're able to scale a business but not lose any of the essence of what made it great in the first place. And I see that very much part of my job, to make sure that that continues to exist, because I think if we lose what made us special in the first place, we lose, is the end result. So we must maintain what I guess is our original DNA, our original connection with clients, which is really deep. But as I say, be able to innovate on top of that, broaden our offerings to those clients, make us even more relevant, make us more effective in what we do for them, and do that in a way, in a scale sense that gives them what they need when they need it, in a way they want to consume it. So.
And I think what's really great about what you've said there, Neil, is that as part of the research we did in terms of launching Conscia and what we wanted that to represent, obviously we spent the time to speak to our clients and understand what's their perspective of us in our current phases of organisations, so ITGL and ISN. What did they think about us? What was the value? And actually, I think really strong agreement across a lot of people we spoke to in the various sectors that those are the things they value in the organisations we've set up, that putting the expertise on the front line, being there when they need us, having trust in us and the confidence that they can focus on the things that really matter to them, knowing there's an organisation that's there in their corner. And you're right, sometimes when you think about scale and growth and global, you start to think, well, do I still get that same experience? And I guess we all agree, don't we? That's the thing that above anything, we're really keen on making sure we still deliver to our clients. It's that local feeling they know and love, but with the context of a global outfit behind us, supporting us and helping us grow.
And I think maintaining the sector relevance we've talked about previously, we are and continue to be focused on understanding the markets we operate in across public sector and more recently private sector, so that we can lead more with the outcome and understand the business outcome, and then mapping that back to the technology and ultimately the service, rather than being technology led. That's how we create the partnership approach rather than transaction. That's how we build the emotional connections with customers. That's how we are seen as being that thought leader in that sector space. So, really important and something I know we're all, continuing to focus on.
For me, this is really about us becoming an extension of the customer's IT team. What we don't want is a simple supplier-customer relationship. This is about us being trusted by our customers, and as I say, being seen as just an extension of their operation. It's all about the business outcomes. And I have a mantra that I talk to the team about a lot, which is, well, let's fix the problem now and we'll check the contract later. And I think that's really important, because that shows that we understand what can happen if critical systems are down or they become compromised. And we really need to be working with our customers to make sure that our number one priority is making sure that they can concentrate on their business.
That loops into that whole, I think the prime focus for us is our customers' success, not necessarily our capability. Yes, we're there, we're solid, we've got the excellence, but it's success for us is our customers' success.
Yeah, it's a really good point. A lot of the time when we talk about success in this industry as technology partners, we think about, have we installed the technology we purchased? Have we turned on the features we said we were going to turn on? And if we tick all the boxes, great, success, move on. But actually that's not a measure of success, is it really? Success is, has the customer achieved the goal that they set out to achieve by purchasing that technology? Like, that's ultimately what success is all about. Moving beyond that technology and focusing on what's the thing that's driving it in the first place.
I think the relationships, again, validation of the amount or the history with the number of our clients, there is the proof that we're about life cycle and partnership over significant period of time working with customers across those sectors, is actually having the trust both ways to be able to challenge that. We talk about service excellence, we talk about our sector approach, but actually a true partnership is two-way. It's not reacting to what the customer, and actually equally it's challenging and looking at more innovative ways of working with customers and actually being able to say, have you thought about, or let's look at this in a different way. I think again is back to that relationship we have, as you mentioned.
It's also about having that grown-up relationship with the customers as well, and being honest with each other and trusting of each other enough to have those difficult conversations. It's not always going to go swimmingly.
Yeah, of course.
But it's about having that trust and building up that confidence between each other, that you can have the difficult conversations and you can work through the challenges together.
There's always difficult times in every partnership, relationship with a client, isn't there? And the thing I'm very conscious of with this business is we do the things we say we're going to do rather than just talk at them. I sit here having this conversation, quite frankly, and there's probably 1,000 different businesses out there with executive teams sitting around using the same words to a degree, with the same sentiment, same description of things on their website, etc., etc. That's all well and good and right, but what we have to be about is actually delivering on those words, and that is the proof of the real relationship and the real depth of an organisation, because words are cheap, or can be. Actions speak much louder. So that is one of the things that we've built reputation on for many, many years, and as Conscia in the UK grows over the years to come, we want to make sure that brand is recognised for delivering on the things that we say we're going to do, delivering on our promises, making sure we don't let people down.
And as you say, like building that on many, many years. I think Ben, you referenced, got about 20 years in the industry serving like NHS and education. And that 20 years, that's much more than just a number, isn't it? That's proof that we stay for the long term, that we adapt. Like, we're with our clients through leadership changes, through strategy shifts, through just environmental changes. Like, whatever happens, we are there for our clients for the long term. And it talks to that, doesn't it? And one of the things that I've loved seeing over the last few years as we've been building this is just how our clients have come with us on that transition, how they've been with us at the very start, and how they're still with us all these years later, supporting our growth and sticking with us through the transition, because they see the value in that long-term partnership.
Not just clients staying with us for the long term, but when our contacts at those clients move from business to business, they take us along for the journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all very well building a lasting relationship with one client, but people move around within those businesses. So if those people move to new businesses, it's about, well, let's take Conscia with us. We know what a great job they've done for us previously. We've got that trust. I'm going to bring them into my new organisation.
And we have multiple examples of that client advocacy across our markets where, like you say, people have moved and relationships continue because it's that people to people piece. I mean, you mentioned public sector and that partnership approach. I think what we have done and we will continue to do as a business is challenge the UK public sector approach with partnerships and procurement, because what we have seen in the last few years and where I think we are driving a change with our customers and educating government and centralised procurement departments is people want a partnership, not a transaction, yet UK public sector has been very transactional, focused, opportunity by opportunity, and actually it's great to see through the work we've done, through the customers we work with in the public sector, they actually get the value of a life cycle engagement that's challenging the way that they go to market, that they measure value, etc. It's continuing to evolve, but it's been great to see that realisation in a couple of our core markets around we need to be in this for the long term, not a transaction, we move, we come back to market, etc. So
yeah, a transaction doesn't get the customer out of a sticky situation in the hour of need, does it?
Yeah.
The relationship and the trust that you build gets you out of that sticky situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I really like now being part of Conscia Group, I think we mentioned it a couple of times, but this notion of trust and security, and obviously what we're building in Conscia is an organisation that puts security right at the forefront of everything we do. But that security is much broader than just cyber security. It's much more than just a technology. Like, there is a huge difference between one of our clients walking into their office or place of work each morning and thinking, right, I'm ready for the day, things are working, and I know if something goes wrong, someone's there who has my back, versus someone who walks into an organisation and thinks, it's a bit touch and go today, and if something goes wrong, then there's like a load of chaos that's going to break out. Like, security for us is all about giving our clients that peace of mind, that feeling of being able to rest easy to a degree so that they can approach each day focusing on the things that actually matter and actually drive them forwards. And you can only do that if you're building those long-term partnerships, if you're building that trust and you're building that credibility.
Yeah, it's about being able to walk in the morning and your chosen partner saying to you, well, we picked up that this might be something that was about to happen and we've done something about it. So you were resting easy, we've taken care of it, you've come in this morning and everything is as you left it the night before. I think that's the real measure of the partnership and kind of the level of service that we want to deliver to our clients.
Yeah, managed services has evolved massively, isn't it, over the last few years, from being somebody's there on the end of a phone call, something's gone wrong, help me, to, as you say, Rich, now it's got to be all about predictive and preemptive fixes before they happen, before they disturb a business, from operating in its normal sense. So it's the pressure's now very much on our end to deliver that before problems even occur.
And if I look at some of the developments that our dev team are doing in terms of that intelligence that we can put around the services that we're offering, I think we're really well placed to really be a market leader in that area. As Neil testifies on a number of occasions, his belief is there are a number of businesses out there doing a really bad job of managed services. I think those services are more reactive. Yeah. Something's broken and now they need to do something about it. A managed service is about exactly what it says. It's about a service that is managed, and therefore the customer shouldn't need to worry about, well, something broke and now my partner's fixed it. Well, it shouldn't be breaking in the first place. We should be detecting or doing something proactive to stop those systems being compromised or being down in the first place. And for me, that is a true managed service.
Yeah. One of the well-used phrases inside Conscia is we deal in good night's sleep, right? Yeah. People can go to bed and rest easy at night knowing that, to your point, Scott, things are going to be up and working and secure the next day when they arrive.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me as well, it's not a message that says, it's okay, you sleep, do nothing, because we're doing everything. But actually, you can rest easy because you know that together we are building something that's going to last and it's going to work. This is about us enabling our clients to be the best they can be. And actually, when we think about NHS and we think about education and the various commercial sectors we work in, most people go into this industry and work in IT roles because they believe that technology genuinely can make a difference. Like, there's a lot of positivity. You look at how fast technology is growing, all of the things it can do. Like, we all believe it can make an impact, right? But so often we never realise that impact, because we come in day to day and we're just dealt with firefighting and password resets and servers going down, and we just never get to actually realise all of the promise that motivates us to come to work. So giving our clients that peace of mind, that ability to sleep, what that really means is that they can come in the next day and they can start to achieve those things. They can actually restore that positivity that drives us and motivates us, and actually demonstrate, yes, something has happened. We are using technology in the right way. And for me, everything we stand for is about getting our clients to that point where they can genuinely demonstrate the impact they are having to transform the industry. Like, we want to be the provider here that transforms the way that NHS uses digitization. We want to be the organisation that helps educate a new wave of students in a way that previously hasn't been possible. All of this stuff is available to people if we just get them focused on the right things, and not the things that drag us all down.
IT needs to be seen as an enabler and a catalyst for change, as opposed to, in the traditional sense, it was always seen as an overhead within a business or an organisation. We need to move away from that. IT needs to be helping people do their jobs more efficiently. It needs to be a key part of the business outcomes that an organisation wants to achieve.
That is clearly an external and a client aspect to that, but I really believe there's an internal employee satisfaction from that as well, right? You know, it's one thing turning up to work, I'm configuring a router, or I'm doing this, or I'm, you know, shipping stuff around the world, whatever it might be. But I see it amongst our employees at Conscia, where when we talk about things like crisis, you know, enabling crisis lines, or enabling students to do things better, or what, you know, clinicians to be more effective in their role, that's what excites employees, because they, look, to your point, Scott, they can see, actually, we collectively, yes, we're here, we're working, we're getting paid for our jobs, all that sort of normal stuff, but actually we are doing something that makes an impact on the wider, you know, good of social fabric of a company, of a country, I guess, which is, you know, if you feel connected to that, my feeling would be you'd be far, you know, you're far more motivated in what you're doing, because you can see you are that a small piece of the answer to something good happening for lots of people in our country.
And those attitudes are really important. And there's, again, in the research we did in building Conscia, spoke to quite a few of our clients. And there's this one quote from a client that really sticks in my mind. It was in the context of delivering a contact centre environment for a crisis line support. And the quote we received from the customer was not, technology works great, it's doing all of this other stuff for us. But it said, the people that use our contact centre, the clinicians that run it, they are now excited and positive about the change that is coming. Like, that's the outcome, isn't it? That's the thing we're trying to drive. Absolutely. And you only get to that point if you design solutions with those guys in mind. Like, as part of that process, we obviously spoke to those clinicians, understood how they worked, designed a technology around it, then they can see how it supports them and drives them in that outcome, and then you get that attitude. Like, that's exactly the sort of thing we want to do more.
It's in the mantra, isn't it? It's just how our people that work with these incredible customers, how they approach the situation. As we've said before, it's not technology led, it's more around what's the impact we can have on those businesses and those sectors. And I suppose bringing it back to, you know, we talked about, you know, the excitement around joining Conscia and that sort of thing. So, you know, we've touched on pace of innovation, we've talked about service. You know, the thing for me, and I know for my teams, is, you know, there's a huge pace of change happening in the UK, well, globally, around, you know, AI and digital transformation. The excitement I have is that we're now part of a you know, amplifying that innovation and that opportunity and that technical excellence to continue to, I guess, move at the pace that customers need to be moving at, and we can continue to assist and be relevant. You know, that is a big thing. You know, we talk about our people, and absolutely is important. You know, people can be the best they can be in these sectors and things. And again, being part of a wider group, you know, we have teams across Europe that work with healthcare, that work with education, that work with commercial markets, seeing already teams across those areas working together to kind of share ideas, best practice in some of those other regions for kind of the greater good is been fantastic to see. So it, you know, it gives me comfort we've amplifying that offering, we're continuing that relevance in those really important areas.
Yeah, Conscia as a group get that exactly right for me. It was one of the big attractions to join the organisation, right? That broader experience of a pan-European type, you know, business, but very much day-to-day operated, managed, led in a local
Yeah.
sense. So people that are close to the marketplace, close to clients, close to employees, making the decisions that make sense in that region, but supported in a broader sense. So, that's a great combination. That brings a lot of positives.
So we talk about excitement earlier, the excitement in the market there, and I think we've got within our ecosystem, we've obviously got our technology partners that we work with day to day, right? And we've got our customers. I mean, if I look at the reaction from our vendor partners that we work with around the story and where we are, there is a huge validation, I guess, around recognising the foundations we've built as we've stood previously, but equally, I think an expectation to move to that next level of scale, of capability, etc. Certainly the engagements and the conversations we've had with those key vendors have been, this is going to allow you to really continue becoming a key player in the UK market. It's going to allow you to break into some of those new market sectors that you've established a footprint in, but actually we want to do more in. So, I don't know what you guys think, but it's been great to see that, I guess, that validation back from those providers.
See, I agree with what you're saying, Ben, and actually one of the things we did again in the research is we made sure we didn't just get a voice from the client and our own internal employees, but actually getting that voice from the vendors as well, and yet unanimously excited about the opportunity that's ahead of us. The market needs a new partner at the moment. Existing partners are maybe not delivering in the way that we want them to work. We need someone fresh, new, someone sector-led, focused on outcomes, and everything you're building seems to be the answer towards that question. So I'd agree. I mean, positivity from a vendor perspective, I think is really clear across all the vendors that we work with.
I think if we look at our customer base, and again, proud to engage with many of our customers across many sectors every day and see the incredible things that we as a business do. Again, there's been a really welcomed attitude to when we started on this journey with those customers. Again, we've talked about the trust, and I think that validates the level of trust and partnership we have with these customers, where they believe in us, and they believe this is good. They believe this is a strong next chapter for the industry and the sectors that we work in. And already we talk about cyber and secure. Being part of Group has allowed us to leverage a much broader set of capabilities. Particularly in public sector, it's about compliance, it's about people, it's about process. There's accreditations, there's assessments, etc., which we've got our customers back now with these enhanced cyber services, and already can draw on examples where we've helped customers assess, audit, and evolve that whole cyber piece, leveraging the power of the wider Conscia Group. Critical services already being taken from our key clients across the broader portfolio, which is fantastic. So we're not just talking about it; we're actually implementing and driving change already in those customers from the Conscia portfolio.
I think bringing that back to a point that I think you made earlier, Neil, around we've now got the might of a pan-European business behind us, but we're still able to deliver that service at a local level. So the relationships are at a local level. The majority of the people that our customers will be working with and will be building the trust with are at that local level. So I think that's a really winning combination.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think as well, when we talk about what the clients see in us and what they're excited about, and some of the stuff you're talking about, Ben, that we're already doing, the thing for me that really stands out is the word progress. And when we look at Conscia's logo, we have secure progress, and progress for me is a fantastic word. Because it really speaks to us delivering on those outcomes that we talk about. And there is a huge difference between progress and motion. As a lovely quote from a guy called Alfred Montepret that I came across recently. He said, a rocking horse will move, but it won't progress. Like, there's a big difference between those two things. And I think in our industry, sometimes we can be busy fools, can't we? Constantly moving from one project to the next, in theory, doing stuff. But actually, the true measure of that success is, are we progressing? Are we continuing to progress? And are we doing that in a secure way? And that for me is great. Conscia secure progress speaks to exactly what we want to achieve, and I think is resonating with clients and vendors.
But look at the pace of change that you see in the technology industry. If managed service providers don't progress, to your point, then they're going to get left behind, and the services that they're delivering to those clients are going to get left behind and become stale. So we have to progress with the industry, and we have to stay at the forefront of that industry in terms of the services that we're offering, the relationships we're building, and the business outcomes that we're trying to help our customers achieve.
And our customers are the heroes. You know, we've talked before about their success. You know, is what our focus is. But it's helping them relay that success and that validation back internally within their businesses. You know, replaying the value of we've invested. What has that now meant to us as a business? You know, we've got many examples. You know, whether it's assisting universities through the clearing process, allowing universities to offer more places through clearing, better ways of students engaging. You talked earlier, Neil, about the fantastic work we continue to do in healthcare around crisis line through sentiment analysis technology, right? Allowing and enhancing that kind of mental care, which is just a fantastic position to partner and improve in. These are key success stories, right? And that's what we thrive, what excites us, what wants us to do more in these areas as well. So,
and they're classic examples of how we've helped organisations achieve their business goals. So technology has been the enabler, as opposed to it just being an overhead.
Yeah, I think, and this is where the Conscia being different in the UK market really lands for me. I think we've moved quite some time ago now from a scenario where it was probably the vendors and maybe the partner community that was able to convince clients that they should take technology for maybe some good reasons, maybe some less good reasons some of the time. What clients need nowadays, and I think what we provide better than others, is the ability to consult, so talk to, listen, understand, translate that into what the outcomes should look like, and then deliver the technology that actually makes all that become real. I think those 3 steps are the steps that we're positioned to do, are doing, can do more of as we scale as a business, and make us very different to a lot of vendor or partner relationships that still exist today, where people are maybe trying to push something from their own agenda rather than what's good for the client.
A very valid point, yeah.
So really good discussion, guys. Thanks for your input. I might lastly ask you to use one word to describe how you feel about what we're facing and where we're going with Conscia in the UK.
I haven't got one. I'll give you 2 words: new possibilities. New possibilities for our people, new possibilities for Conscia, new possibilities for our clients.
Rich?
For me, it's progress. This is about progress for me.
I was going to say that one as well, so I have to think of a new one now. So I'll go with secure, but importantly, that broader definition of security. Like, confident decisions come from a secure foundation. So yeah, secure for me.
And mine's excitement, on many levels. You guys have heard me say many times, we're privileged, I think, in the opportunity to actually bring a new thing to a marketplace that we all know well. We're all experienced in, but now we're actually able to elevate what we're doing to something new, something exciting for us, exciting for clients, exciting for partners. Not many people get to do that in their career, so something we all embrace and look forward to driving forwards, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.